Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to attempt to beat Pokemon Gold as quickly as possible using only an Aerodactyl. My plan is to undertake these runs with every single Pokemon from Pokemon Gold to determine which one is the fastest and consequently the best Pokemon of the second generation. If you have a specific Pokemon you would like to see featured soon, please let me know in the comments. The chances that your preference gets picked are still quite high. However, I do have one condition. Since I'm still learning and improving in this game, please choose a Pokemon that is either fully evolved or doesn't have evolution stages at all. So something like Relegator or Pinsir would be ideal. I look forward to seeing which Pokemon you'd like to see. Today, everything's about Aerodactyl, which was actually chosen from Sudowoodo from my Evasion video. So thanks a lot for that, and also sorry Sudowoodo, I totally forgot to give Aerodactyl the correct nickname. I think Aerodactyl is in for a very interesting run given that it has great coverage, generally speaking, but it lacks special attacks. This means that probably every battle should be quite comfortable, besides one, but if you haven't guessed which one it is, you will be guessing that pretty soon. Stat-wise, Aerodactyl is a very fast physical attacker. It has 130 speed, which means in no battle it will go second if there isn't any status condition. Also, 105 attack is great, because this most likely is enough for every major battle. 80 HP is okay, 65 defense isn't great, but you can work with that. 60 special attack really doesn't matter because, as you will see in a few seconds, Aerodactyl has access to almost no special attacks. And then last but not least, 75 special defense, which is also okay. In terms of resistances, it gets interesting. The rock flying type gives resistances to normal, fire, poison, flying and bug moves, but on the same hand it lets Aerodactyl take 2 times damage from water, electric, ice, rock and steel type attacks, and thanks to the flying type, Aerodactyl completely resists ground attacks. If you think about Red, he has a Pikachu and a Blastoise who could be both dangerous, but Aerodactyl has great coverage itself. Before concluding the introduction, let's quickly look at Aerodactyl's offensive potential. It starts with Wing Attack, which is an amazing move to start with. It has high base power, it has the same type attack bonus, and it has 35 PP. It gets Bite on 15, which is okay, and also Ancient Power, another stab move with 60 base power on 29. Plus, Ancient Power has the chance to increase all stats by 1 stage, which is great. From TMs, Aerodactyl is able to learn Headbutt and Return as well as Swift. Also, it has access to Earthquake, Steel Wing or Iron Tail, as well as Sandstorm. From the special attack perspective, there are literally 3 in total. Bite, which it learns from leveling, Dragon Breath, which you get after the 8th batch, and Fire Blast, which costs 110,000 Pokédollars. Now, let's finally delve into some actual gameplay. Aerodactyl falls in the slow leveling group. I understand why they did it, because actually Aerodactyl brings that legendary flair with it that would immediately put it in the slow level group. But on the other hand, I think the level group is Aerodactyl's biggest weakness. With a medium slow level group, this Pokemon would be so much better. But it is in a slow group and we have to take it as it is. This means after the battle with the last stage in Sport Tower, Aerodactyl is level 10. I faced a few Metapods on my way, which I took out and therefore I'm a bit higher level this time. After that, I immediately head to Falkner, who isn't a challenge usually, and so does also this time. Pidgey is down off the single wing attack, and we're onto Falkner's ace already. Pidgeot is a bit tougher, it withstands a wing attack, but goes for Gust since Aerodactyl can't be hit with ground attacks. As you know, flying moves are resisted, and this means another wing attack takes out Pidgeot with ease. With the first batch comes a boost of 12.5% to our attack stat. After Falkner, I head to the Pokemon Center to pick up the egg from Elm's assistant and I put it in the box immediately. On my way to Unicave, I encounter Bellsprout, which I catch to serve as my Flash and Cut Mule. As my final action before visiting Azalea Town, I quickly pick up TM39 for Swift. In Azalea Town, I visit Kurt, who wants to scare away Team Rocket from the Slowpoke well. However, when he enters the well, he breaks his leg, so I have to step in and do the job. With Team Rocket out of the way, it's time to face Bugsy, which I defeated before the rival in this run because Aerodactyl's wing attack promises an easy sweep before this gym. Bugsy starts with Metapod, which doesn't withstand a wing attack. The same goes for the Kakuna that follows right away, but thanks to its typing fails to another wing attack. Last but not least is onto Scythe. Wing Attack is still very effective, and it is to no surprise that this results in another one-hit KO. 3 attacks, 3 defeated Pokemon, great work of Aerodactyl. And it even gets the level up to level 17, which is also great. Next, it's time to face the rival. The battle starts with Ghastly, which is no match for Aerodactyl as it goes down to a single wing attack. The rival then sends in his biggest threat, Croconaw. I have specifically chosen this Feraligatr for the obvious reasons. Typhlosion would be resisted against Meganium, I'd have super effective attacks, and Feraligatr poses the biggest problems after all for Aerodactyl. Well, not this time, because I have defeated Croconaw for now. The rival's last Pokemon is Zubat, but another wing attack takes it out. In the Ilex Forest, I help a student recover the Black Belt's lost Farfetch'd. After returning to the Master, we are rewarded with HM1 cut. Shortly after that trip, I meet a green-haired individual who hands me the TMO2 for Headbutt. Arriving in Goldenrod City, I grab the coin case from the underground. Before facing Whitney now, I heal up one last time. I give the berry to Aerodactyl as a held item, and after the final save, it's time to go. The battle starts with Clefairy. It will go for Metronome because I'm unable to one-hit KO it, but this time it didn't attack. Miltank is dangerous because it knows Rollout. I go for Wing Attack anyways, and it's a race who knocks out the other one faster with the unfavorable end for me this time. Miltank is in the deep red, but manages to take out Aerodactyl with Rollout. Time for the next try. Clefairy again doesn't attack, which helps a lot after all. Miltank starts the Rollout, which is bad, and the result is the exact same as in the try before. Aerodactyl goes down again. Well, you know, all good things come in threes. Clefairy goes down again this time because it wanted to attack with Double Slap but missed. Miltank comes in and misses the first Rollout, and with that, it should be done and dusted. And so it is. Aerodactyl finally is able to win the damage race against Miltank, and it emerges victorious. With the badge from Whitney, we get a 12.5% boost to the speed stat, which is great already. I then quickly grab the Squirt Bottle, intuitively feeling I might need to scare a tree with it later and pick up Kenya from a guard in Goldenrod City. Following that, I acquire a Nabra for only 4,000 Pokédollars from the game corner. This time, I don't forget to pick up the radio card. Leaving the radio tower, I teleport back to Violet City with the help of Abra. Next, I leave Violet City to the west, sprinkle some water over the Strongy, which then attacks me, but I decide to run. Arriving in Aquatic City, I defeat the Kimono Girls to get HM3 Surf, and then immediately head to the Aquatic City gym. Ghastly comes in and goes down to a single wing attack immediately. Next is Haunter, which I luckily also managed to one-hit KO with a single wing attack. That is great news so far. Gengar sadly won't be a one-hit KO anymore, and Gengar makes things a lot worse by putting Aerodactyl to sleep. It can't manage to wake up, and this means the battle is over. But the solution to that is super simple. I quickly get the mint berry from the tree next to the Moo farm. With that equipped, I try again. Ghastly is still a one-hit KO, and so is Haunter. It's very helpful to have a strong stab attack. Against Gengar, it still isn't enough, but after the Hypnosis landed, the mint berry is triggered and Aerodactyl wakes up. Another wing attack takes out Gengar, and we are onto Mortis's. The final Haunter then feigns to a single wing attack, which grants me the 4th badge. Before facing Chuck, I examine the lighthouse in Olivine City. I head to Jasmine, who told me that Ampharos is sick and needs medicine. While I'm here, I also got the rare candy for later usage. I support Jasmine's case of course, and will head straight to Emerald City to grab the medicine. But I don't have the surf meal yet, and so I need to get a good road from this fisherman, as well as HM4 strength from the sailor in Olivine City, to then fish up and catch a Krabby, which will be used as my mule for surf and strength. With that out of the way, I will battle Chuck. I go for wing attack against Primeape, which takes it out in a single hit. That is promising indeed, but Poliwrath is a bit more dangerous because it's part water. My wing attack takes it into deep orange HP, and Poliwrath only went for Mind Reader, which resulted in another wing attack which took out Poliwrath. So I get out and very swiftly grab the HM2 for flying and also the secret potion. I bring the potion to Jasmine real quick because Ampharos won't take it from me, and with that we're ready to battle Jasmine. But I won't try the battle yet, because Steelix would be a very rough challenge. So I decide to go to the Lake of Rage first, where I quickly get the rare candy. I defeat the Gyarados to meet this guy who seems to be the champion of the Pokemon League. Just a few seconds later, I witness how the champion commands his Dragonite to Hyper Beam a human. Wow, I want to be a champion one day as well. Now comes the Rocket Hideout, where I spent about a minute to share my thoughts about the Pokemon. Aerodactyl is a really fun Pokemon, one that has the cool flare trait like Gengar, but also that majestic, mythical flair like the legendaries. So style-wise, I have nothing to complain. But performance-wise, you can see that Aerodactyl is struggling a bit, although it has great offensive potential. But Miltank was tough, as well as Poliwrath and also Gengar. Usually, this isn't too much of a deal, because most Pokemon by now had a good plan on how to defeat Steelix, but I can tell you that with Aerodactyl, which has only 3 offensive special attacks to its name, things are going to be very, very rough with Jasmine. And here's also why the slow leveling group is the biggest weakness for Aerodactyl. I could try to outlevel Jasmine to the point where I'm strong enough to defeat Steelix with a resisted physical attack, but this doesn't seem to be promising after all, and I want to achieve the best in-game time possible. So this goes against leveling a lot, to be honest. Grinding for Jasmine with Anna was bad enough, with Aerodactyl it's only gonna get worse. But we're not there yet, so let's see how the other battles go first. After the Rocket Hideout, it was time to battle Price. But before that, I grabbed the TM27 for return and teach it to Aerodactyl instead of Headbutt. I start against Steel with Ancient Power and luckily get the stat boost. Steel doesn't faint, but it's not too bad because with increased stats I should be clear. It attacks with Icy Wind, which is super effective but still dealt no damage. Also, it decreased the speed of Aerodactyl, but that's not a problem at all. I then take it out with Return. Return also deals about half to Piloswine, which missed the few attacks afterwards. Another Return then takes it out. And ultimately, it's onto Dugong. Ancient Power is super effective and manages to take out Dugong in a single hit. With that, we have the 6th badge, and this one gives a 12.5% boost to both special stats. With level 34, I move on to battle Jasmine. Against the first Magnemite, I start with Ancient Power. It doesn't even deal half, which is a very bad sign from the beginning. Of course, I get paralyzed, but this try was only to check how this battle would go, so I don't have the Paralyzed Q-Berry equipped yet. After all, it's over pretty fast and the very opposite of encouraging. So I have to level up a bit more, and I went to battle some trainers that I left and came back on level 36. As you can see, Aerodactyl now deals over half to Magnemite, which means that it will be able to 2-hit KO the first one and avoid getting paralyzed. Against the second Magnemite, I go for Ancient Power again. This time I get paralyzed afterwards and Magnemite attacks. I defeat Magnemite, but now I only have 59 HP and I am being paralyzed to Steelix. Ancient Power does nothing, Steelix lands an Iron Tail, and it's over. So I tried again. This time, the first Magnemite didn't get the paralyzation because it missed, which means I was able to defeat both Magmites without getting paralyzed or taking damage. Unfortunately, I didn't get a stat boost either, which would have been great. Against Steelix, I checked the damage from return, which does nothing. Steelix lands an Iron Tail and Aerodactyl is down to 29 HP. Then I went to check the damage from Wing Attack, which is even less, and another Iron Tail takes out Aerodactyl. So I had a new idea. I would deplete all PP and try with Struggle, learning from Unknown. I had so many PP for attacks on Aerodactyl that I came back with level 40. I left 4 PP on Ancient Power to take out the Magnemites and ideally get a stat boost from one attack. 2 would even be better. Little did I know, you can only get a stat boost when you do not knock out the Pokemon that turn. So at level 40, it didn't seem that Struggle without a boost would deal enough damage, and so I tried 10 times to get a stat boost against one of the Magnemites, and I simply couldn't get it. I had hopes that with boost stats I could face Steelix, but for that I would have to get the 10% chance from Ancient Power, which I simply didn't get often enough. And then there could still a lot go wrong. Magnemite could paralyze Aerodactyl or confuse it. And so I was really frustrated at this point, because I couldn't see the solution here and I wouldn't get a stat boost. Even if I did one, it wasn't enough. Aerodactyl had access to nothing that would help here. I could theoretically get the TM Fire Blast, but that thing does cost 110,000 Pokédollars, which you don't have at this stage of the game, and wasting time with gambling simply isn't worth it, because then I could also use the other solution, which was to level up heavily to be overleveled. But Aerodactyl is in the slow level group and this would also take ages. And so I did what probably was the smartest idea that I could have. I paused the game for a day and went back to find the right strategy. On the next day, with a fresh mind, I went ahead. I leveled up Aerodactyl to level 43 and I have taught it the very non-destructive attack in terms of Rock Smash. I've taught it to Aerodactyl for several reasons, but before I explain those, I used 2 more rare candies to level Aerodactyl to level 45. The reason why I taught Rock Smash to Aerodactyl is that it is first super effective against Steelix, but that isn't all. Also, it has a chance to lower the target's Pokemon defense, which is great because Aerodactyl is a physical attacker and Steelix is a physical wall. In the first try, as you could see, it wasn't promising. I didn't take out the Magnemites in time and so I failed against Steelix. But in the second try, the stars finally aligned. I managed to take out the first Magnemite with a return kit and then the second one with 2 ancient powers. I get paralyzed, so the berry triggered, and now with full HP and no status condition I face Steelix. I start with Rock Smash, which has a 50% chance to lower the defense and we got it on the first turn. Steelix missed with Iron Tail and I land another Rock Smash. This time I didn't get the defense drop, but Steelix missed with Iron Tail again. Another Rock Smash brings down Steelix to about a quarter and it lands an Iron Tail, dealing 73 damage to Aerodactyl. The next turn another Rock Smash lands and with a crit we are finally able to defeat Steelix and get the 7th badge. This was a huge relief and a lot of hope that I gained with a single battle. With the new confidence and the cleared mind, I went ahead and did the rival battle at the radio takeover. The rival starts with Golbat, which has no chance against Ancient Power. Now comes in Magnemite. I still don't have a good solution against it, so I go for Ancient Power again, hoping for a stat boost. I didn't get it and Magnemite survived, but then luckily missed the Thunder Wave. Next comes Eradicator, which only knows Water Gun as a water move by now, which means I can easily take it out with 2 returns. It didn't even go for Water Gun. Haunter goes on to Wing Attack and Sneasel has no chance against return. After I've cleared the Radio Tower from all the rockets, I quickly get the Pink Bow from this nice lady. Pink Bow will strengthen my normal moves even more, increasing the power by another 10%. In the Ice Path, I grab HM7 and TM44 for rest, just in case I need it later. With those new items in my badge, I face clear. Aerodactyl is a bit overleveled by now, because I had to grind a bit against Jasmine. Because of that, I have equipped the Pink Bow, and the combination of Pink Bow, a strong physical attacker and return, is enough to take out all the Dragonars with a single hit. Against Kingdra, you can see how much damage return really dealt. It's a lot, not quite enough to take out Kingdra, but to bring it down to low orange. It went for the very questionable Smokescreen instead of Surf, and Aerodactyl ignores that by taking out Kingdra at the very next turn. But before facing the Elite 4 now, I have some other tasks to do. I will get the Master Ball from Professor Elm, and then I grab a few rare candies. 1 in Violet City, 1 south of Goldenrod, 1 at Mount Mortor, and the final rare candy on Road 27. Then, at the Victory Road, I grab the TM27 for Earthquake, as well as this hidden potion in the rock. I teach Earthquake to Aerodactyl, and with that, it's time to face the rival one last time just before the Elite 4. He starts with Sneasel, which still gets taken out by return without any problems. For Magneton, I finally have Earthquake, which takes it out in a single hit thanks to being 4 times effective. Eradicator almost gets taken out by a single return this time, and now finally makes the correct choice to attack with Water Gun. It even got a crit, but nothing Aerodactyl needs to be scared of. Another Wing Attack then took out Eradicator. My rival now stands in Haunter, which feigns to a single Wing Attack, then Kadabra, which feigns to a single return, and ultimately Golbat, which feigns to a single Ancient Power. We are ready for the Elite 4. I have really thought a lot about the battles against Will and Koga and if I should include them in the videos. Most often those aren't challenging, and I also cut the Kanto part almost completely, so it would make sense to focus on the really important battles. Well, this time we can still see the battles, and Slowbo already went down to 2 Earthquakes. Next comes an Executor, which is very weak to Wing Attack and feigns in another one hit, and ultimately Xadu, where I thought Wing Attack would be enough. It wasn't, I get confused, but managed to take out Xadu eventually. Before facing Koga, I heal up once and then start the battle. The second battle against Koga starts off with Ariados. Ariados is part bug, and so I go for Wing Attack to take it out. Next comes Fortress, which is part Steel-type, and therefore just goes down to 3 Earthquakes. Now comes out Muk, which feigns to a single Earthquake. Venomoth feigns to a single Wing Attack, and then Crowbot finally comes in and goes out immediately because of Ancient Power. Bruno sends Hitmontop to the field. It went for Quick Attack, but feinted to Wing Attack afterwards. Earthquake then knocks out Onix, and against the last 3 fighting Pokemon, my Wing Attack should be enough. Hitmonchan goes down to a single Wing Attack, and next comes Machamp, which also feigns to a single Wing Attack. Ultimately, it's on to Hitmonlee, which, surprise surprise, also feigns to Wing Attack. With Bruno out of the way, it's time to face Karen. Against Umbreon, I start with Ancient Power, hoping for a stat boost, which I didn't get. Umbreon missed Sand Attack, and I figured Return should be enough to knock out Umbreon, which it was. Against Gengar, a single Earthquake is enough to take it out. Vileplume feigns to Wing Attack before Houndoom comes in, and feigns to Earthquake. Then it's onto Murkrow, which has no chance against another Ancient Power. For Lance, I replenish the PP of Wing Attack by mistake, and then the ones of Ancient Power. I start against Gyarados with Return, which took it into red, and Gyarados answered with Surf, which dealt a lot. Another Return takes out Gyarados. Against the first Dragonite, Ancient Power to my surprise was not enough to take it out in a single hit. After its missed Thunder Wave, I take it out as well. Against the second Dragonite I try again, because I had the feeling that I just got a very bad range roll. That was the case indeed, because I was able to take out the second Dragonite in a one-hit KO with Ancient Power. Against Lance's Aerodactyl, I then do a misplay. I choose Return over Ancient Power, which was a mistake. Return doesn't deal half, and Lance's Aerodactyl has a move that mine strangely couldn't learn. Well. The try is over. So I tried again. Gyarados this time only went for Rain Dance, and I can take it out with returns. Again, against the first Dragonite, I don't get a good enough range roll, and it survives with 1 HP to then miss Thunder Wave again. Very lucky for me, so I can take it out with Wing Attack. The second Dragonite feigns to a 1-hit KO, and against Aerodactyl, this time I choose the correct move with Ancient Power. I use it against the final Dragonite as well, and Dragonite went for Safeguard. Lance then heals the Dragonite, but I attack twice with Return, which took out Dragonite. Charizard obviously isn't a problem, because it's double weak to rock moves, and so Ancient Power takes it out, and I am now officially the champion of the Pokemon League. As usual, Kanto was very easy, and so we skip ahead to Blue. I now have 15 badges, and I'm ready to face Blue, the penultimate challenge of this game. Pidgeot goes down to a single use of Ancient Power. Earthquake brings down Raiden to Deep Orange, and then Raiden risks with 3 attacks, which is good news. Another Earthquake takes out Raiden the next turn. Then, against Alakazam, I use Return to take it out. I choose Return against Gyarados, which is very dangerous because it knows Hydro Pump. But instead, it went for Rain Dance. Blue then used a potion, and 2 returns take out Gyarados eventually. Executor withstands the Wing Attack, which is amazing, to then use Leech Seed. Blue uses another potion, but 2 more Wing Attacks are enough to also take out Executor. Ultimately, it's onto a Canine, which is no match for Earthquake and goes down to a single hit. Now, I have all the 16 badges. I teach TM37 Sandstorm to Aerodactyl instead of Earthquake, and then use all my rare candies that are left to push Aerodactyl's level to level 71. My plan is to take out Pikachu with a single return, because it is really annoying with Charm or Thunder in this case. It gets taken out easily. Against Blastoise, I think I need a stat boost from Ancient Power. I don't get it, and Blastoise is able to take twice with Surf to take out Aerodactyl. That didn't go to plan. Let's try again. Pikachu is a safe 1-hit from return. This time against Blastoise I get the stat boost, which is great because Surf now deals far less damage. I go for return to hopefully take out Blastoise, but I didn't get it. Since Blastoise can't knock out Aerodactyl with Surf, it goes for Rain Dance, which is great because I can take it out safely now. Return then brings Espeon down to red. It retaliates with a very weak Psychic, and I take it out the very next turn with another return. Snorlax goes down to half HP from a single return, to then use Amnesia, so that another return takes it out as well. Finally, it's onto Venusaur, which has no chance against Wing Attack, and ultimately Charizard, which has no chance against Ancient Power. So Aerodactyl finishes red with a time of 6 hours, 43 minutes and 43 seconds. With 23 resets, it comes down to a final time of 6 hours, 55 minutes and 13 seconds, which results in the third last place. Aerodactyl didn't feel that bad after all, but the struggle against Jasmine really added to the time. It was quite okay if you don't look at the Jasmine battle, so I'm quite happy with this Pokemon for today's run. Again, I want to thank Seaduke for the suggestion of Aerodactyl. It was a fun run. And as a reminder, if you want to see a specific Pokemon soon, let me know in the comments. That's it. Hope you enjoyed it, have a great day, and see you in the next one. And by the way, did I tell you that the ending theme really is my favorite theme out of them all?